Today we will look at attack modifiers and how to use them to great effect, and they are really amazing. They will give you the greatest of effects. And this guide was requested from our first Tiger 2 Patreon. If you are a Tiger 2 Patreon with Hygge Gaming for 3 months, you can choose your very own guide. You choose the subject and me and Badger will deliver that guide to you and to the entire public with a huge shout out. So if you stay as Tiger 2 Patreon for 3 months, you own us and we will release the guide that you want. So a huge shout out to our first Tiger 2 Patreon. You know who you are. But let's just start and look how modifiers work in game. And I have set up a really extreme scenario right now because we have a lot of modifiers. We're up to 1458% extra in attack right now. So we're gonna do two things. We're gonna go here and make a force attack, giving us 20% extra offense, so 20% extra attack when we're attacking. And we're gonna do this campaign instructions against Poland. So it says 10% extra attack, but we're gonna get 15 from this because I know it. We're up to 1458 in extra attack, and we have put in, it's gonna be 35% extra. So let's just think a little bit. How much extra do you think this will get you? Some people really know the math. If you don't, this will probably surprise you. So we have 35% extra. We'll roll camera and we're up to 2012 instead. So almost 600% extra attack from these 20% and 15% extra that we have. And the reason for this is how the math works. So for every extra modifier, and I will clear this up at screen, we will increase it accordingly. I'm gonna show you at screen so you understand. So if we are at 1600 extra attack and we get 20% extra, we have that 1600% times 1.2. And if we have an extra 15%, it's that times 1.15 again. So the more modifiers you have, the higher you get, the more extra each new modifier gives you. And this is quite extreme. And if we would have done something with terrain here also, because this is a minus, this is really bad actually, we would have gotten several hundred extra in attack if we just got 5, 10, 15%. I can show you at screen how much difference this would have made. But right now, 2000 extra attack, pretty good when you're attacking or defending, doesn't matter. So what's going on here? We have a lot of modifiers here. We have all modifiers that we can actually have for attack right now. So the first one we can talk about is experience, and experience is really important. You always want to train your troops. I think that's pretty evident. If you get veterans like we have here, giving you 75% extra, this is extremely deadly since it's a huge modifier. And if you look here, there ain't that many modifiers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 modifiers positive and 1 negative modifier. So we have 10 modifiers to work with. So we want to increase everyone as much as possible. So experience, having experienced units is extremely deadly. That's why you want low trickleback on your best units. You want to gain as much experience as possible. You don't want them to die of attrition and so forth to get that veteran status, because together with other modifiers, this is extremely powerful. The next one I want to talk about is intel advantage. Less known perhaps, but you gain intel advantage by using spies or using recomplaints. So one of the main reasons to have recomplaints is to have the intel advantage. This gives you 15%. It's not a huge modifier, but as I said, since these one, especially if you get them separated, are work exponentially up to really high. You see here 2000%. It's just from 300 to 6500 in soft attack. This is extremely powerful. So you want every one of these modifiers being as high as possible, and therefore recomplaints are really good if you get that 15% intel advantage. And as always, most of you watching are not yet subscribers, so please subscribe to the channel. Me and Badger, Petter, Victor, everyone would be extremely happy. And also, if you want a dedicated guide to you, something that you choose and we deliver, join our Tiger 2 tier at Patreon and we will deliver the guide as long as you stay there for 3 months or more. And if you just want more guides than the Monday guides here on YouTube, join the Stag 3 tier or above on Patreon and you will gain 1 extra guide every second week and access to the entire Patreon library of guides and a lot of extra stuff. And not to mention our Discord, where we also hang out with each other and do fun stuff. So please join Patreon. If not, just subscribe and be happy. And the next part is air support. Air support comes from your close air support or tactical bombers on close air support missions. In this modifier, it doesn't matter how good your close air support are. You just need to have the close air support in the zone, working and distracting the enemy, giving you extra advantage here. So I don't think it's capped at 35. I think you can push it a little bit higher, but still 35%, really good. That's a huge reason to actually have cast plane. And as I said, close air support doesn't matter if it's the best or the worst, you just need to have them there and you will gain this bonus. You need to have air superiority, everything like that, but you have them in the zone and they can work and you will get 35% with bonuses, of course, also going into air support to have these kind of numbers. The next one is terrain, and this time, since how I design my units, and I will come to that when we talk about country later, they have a malus. This malus is really expensive modifier wise in this part, but we regain it in other places here down, like country. But terrain is really important. If you're fighting in hard terrain, having terrain bonuses, you can have terrain bonuses on your generals, on your field marshals, you can have it. Also terrain bonuses going here with the mountaineers or whatsoever. But it's really important with that terrain bonus not going low, hopefully having them positive. And we have a whole guide both again about air support, and we have an entire guide about terrain bonuses as well, and I will put them up, I think up there, yeah, up there somewhere, so you can see them also, and put some links in the description. The next one up is country. Country includes a lot of stuff. We have national focuses, we have spirits, we have war support, we have all advisors, high command. So national focuses, we have one here, for example. Just got this supreme leader, cheated a little bit, gave us the, let's see here, the supreme leader of on Adolf Hitler, giving us division attack plus 5%. So kind of spirits, these kind of spirits, everything doing with country, everything down here. So we have special forces attack 15%, we have armor division attack 15%, motorized attack 15%. And with my template, I have also played with this since I made special forces. We can go into the template like this, I guess. We have special forces here. This is 100% special forces. It's also armor and mechanized. So by going special forces here, we got the entire 15%. And we also have this one with 15% extra attack. So everything you have here and down here also, this is country spirits, and it goes to the country part of the modifiers. And also war support shown up here. If we attack or defend on core territory, we get even more of that coming. But since we got that extra state attack, because we're attacking Poland, I had a decision to give us state advantage. We gain much more from a separate 50% extra than trying to fight on our own territory, because of how the math works. We want as many as possible, of course as high as possible, but many is almost better than more, higher. And the next part is commander. Commander skill is both commander, the general, and the field marshal. So if we look at the commander here, we have 25% extra attack. This is an extremely good commander. We also have these kind of division attack, armor division attack, 16%, mechanized defense. This is not important right now, but we have the attack on modifier on our field marshal. We only get half from field marshal and all these traits, but still we have 8% from this since it's half. So we have a lot of important stuff from commander, and as you see, if we have good commanders, it really goes up quite high. It's 50% extra, and as you know, it goes really high, much higher the more we have. So that is commander skill and what you get out from your commanders. And coming to commanders, I'm pretty sure we also made a guide about this, so if we have, I will put it up in the, somewhere here, so you can see it also, and links in the description and everything. Next up is planning bonus. Planning bonus is amazing, and you see this is really high, and we got there by two reasons. First of all, we choose right in the doctrine, so we get an extra planning bonus from our doctrine. So I went Grand Battle Plan and this lane with the most planning bonuses are. Also good generals, again, max planning 14%, and we also have max planning on Heinz here at 18%. So we're getting a huge buff here with planning bonus, and we also have a planning bonus exploit that you can use, and I will put up another guide. We have a lot of guides right now, and link in the description so you can look at how to gain planning bonus as easy as possible without being able to needing to micro way too much. So it's a good way of getting a lot of extra modifier. And on the other side we have entrenchment, which work as planning bonus, but on the other way, you see here where planning bonus 95% and entrenchment, this is not an entrenchment build, at 35%, but they work at the same way, so you can gain a lot of this, and you also can counter people with a lot of planning bonus, and we have a guide for that too, somewhere an intelligence guide. So I will put there's too many guides, I will put another guide up here also with more links in the description. Yeah, really powerful when modifier stacking. The next thing is state. State is much harder to get. You can get it from decision. So this decision made a state modifier. You can also find it in the Spanish Civil War state modifiers, but they're not as common, and you need to have the right decision, right places for them. But if you gain them, they are really powerful, since they are that extra multiplier on top. When you already have 1800 and you gain 10% extra, so that 10% gives you another 180 or something like that percent extra. So it's really powerful to have this, because it's another modifier, but more not as easy to find or use as every other modifier. The next one is kind of simple, commander ability bonus. It's this one that I used here, force attack. It's kind of expensive since you take a lot more extra damage, but also when you have a lot of modifiers, extremely powerful to just boost in and get that extra hundreds and hundreds of percent of extra attack, really just crushing your enemy. So easy to use, got some command power, some micro, but if you want to break through and just roll on, this is amazing. And yeah, easy to get whenever you want it. And the last thing, and we have a guide for this too, is tactics. And as I said in that guide, tactics are extremely powerful. When it comes to this again, stacking modifiers are extremely powerful. So if we look here, we have the breakthrough tactic, the tactic I love most in the entire game. We get movement, that's not interesting here, and we got more tactic damage, and also lessen the damage from the defender right here. By 15%, he gains 5% from his tactic. So having the right tactics, not being countered, using reconnaissance in the right way, which we also have a guide for. There will be guides. This will just be a Christmas tree of guides just popping up everywhere, because we have made a couple of guides now. But we have guides for tactics and reconnaissance, because that's really important. And when you start stacking them up like this might be an extreme example, but it's not hard to get up to 400, 600 and 700% extra. And if you have the veterans, if you have the planning in this, you can get even higher. So this is really, really powerful. And HOI4, in my opinion, the land game, has a lot to do with modifier stacking. If you can stack modifiers, your base attack, yeah, it's cool to have 322 in base attack. It's nothing amazing. But if you get a modifier of 2000%, as you see, this is just ridiculous. We have 6700 in attack. And if we would just play this out, just push in these 2 tanks, we could just move forward with ease. They won't be able to defend anything here. We can just roll down to Moscow, perhaps taking the railway down so we don't lose fuel. But they won't do anything. We'll just roll down there. Boom, boom, boom. And we're in Moscow. They can't fight us at all. And even down here, we're gonna go... Oh, we'll make it a little bit slower. We attack from the behind here. We will have less modifiers since we don't have air in right now. The planning is lessened. We still have... What was it? 800% extra in attack. Yeah. Just roll through them. So modifier stacking, even if you're not up to 2000%, is extremely, extremely powerful. And the last thing I want to mention, because this is interesting, most people know about medals. What you need to know is that medals don't give extra modifiers. Medals go straight to the template. So we don't have attack modifiers, medals with Germany, but we have with other countries. But if you look at this breakthrough, 7.8%, this will not be shown here as a modifier when attacking. Look at the breakthrough modifiers. Nothing here, but we will see it here in the combat stats with breakthrough here. So those 7.5% are straight into the template and not a modifier, which makes them not as good, but having a good base is amazing also when you have these modifiers. But if this would have gone upon every other modifier, this would have been huge. And that's that. We're going through every modifier in game. If someone find another modifier that I don't know about, please tell me. But this is all modifiers I have ever been able to find that are positive attack modifiers. And this is gonna be a pretty long guide. We have breakthrough modifiers, we have negative modifiers. There's a lot more we can go through, but since, as you know already, I don't like 50 minutes guides, so I'll try to keep the scope down. So this is positive attack modifiers. And again, a huge shout out to our first Tiger 2 Patreon. If you want your own guide, go into Patreon, sign up as a Tiger 2 Patreon. You will join us in Discord, we'll talk about it, and when you've been there for 3 months, you decide the next guide we will make, and you will get a huge shout out in the process. But with that said, I loved making this guide. I love modifier stacking. This is perhaps not what the game is about, but if you want to have really fun and just drive over the AI or your friends, stacking modifiers is how you do it. And yeah, I think I will stop there. It's gonna be a long guide anyway. Yeah, so again, love making these guides for you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time.